First new vlog in days. Hi, this is later than everyone else saw it. I apologize, but no one's gonna watch it anyway because no one watches my videos because you all hate me, cry, whinge, etc.
Iron Brew!
Iron Brewski.
No, that's when you put Russian vodka in it.
You get a WKD Iron Brew flavor. We saw The Conjuring.
Then there was no Conjuring in it. I wanted a magic
That is
show.
an amusing fact. Apparently this is based on a true story. I'm gonna investigate this because if it was, they have enough evidence to completely prove shit.
It completely proved Christianity for one thing.
And we have never come across this before.
Yeah, the film was full of video cameras and cameras set up to capture the ghosts. But you know,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure if they did capture the ghosts as well as they did in the movie, we would have seen it somewhere.
Yeah, this even if it wasn't proved or demonstrated or whatever, we would have been a famous sort, famous like the Amityville Horror apparent events. Famous as the story that inspired The Exorcist. And what I'm saying is, one of us would have come across it in like a true haunting book or something.
Or a cracked article.
Yeah, or a cracked article, or a shitty documentary on the so-called History Channel, or something.
That still exists?
Well, they don't call it the so-called History Channel.
Well, that would make it a lot more interesting and accurate.
Yeah, they should have called it Aliens and Nazis. Anyway, we saw it and...
It was shite!
Lily Taylor badly needs to stay away from horror movies featuring children. Badly. This is the woman that was in the Haunting remake with Catherine Zeta-Jones, where she just wanted children. She stayed with the ghost children. I'm thinking what happened is she went insane, and then she died, and she went to hell, and this is her version of hell, where she gets possessed, and she has like a fucking million children, and then she gets possessed, and she tries to kill them, and this is really fucking generic.
This is like, I have grown up watching horror films. Oh, there's The Exorcist. I'll put that in. Oh, there's Ring. I'll put that in. Oh, there's some horror tropes. I'll put them in. Big Nick Thingville.
Exorcism stuff, and there's a Poltergeist, and there's Patrick Wilson turning up with sideburns, being all like, "Hello, I'm Patrick Wilson. You might remember me from Watchmen or Hard Candy, where I got castrated."
So, a trucker. He isn't Ethan Hawke. I don't know why I specified that.
Well, we saw Sinister. That's really the best horror movie we've done with this.
But a trucker buys a house in the middle. That's why I was specifying it, because a moron buys a house in the middle of nowhere that looks haunted, like entirely.
It looks just like the Amityville Horror House.
It's a standard American house design.
Well, a standard sort of North Atlantic states American design.
So if they buy this really creepy house, they don't paint over the mouldy, rotten walls. They don't fix it up. They don't do much of anything to it. They just buy this.
Well, to be fair, Colin did that too.
But he had plans.
They might have, but they probably cut it out. I don't know.
So they buy a shitty old house, move the furniture in, and start living there. Well done. That's your kids dying of bronchitis. You're a responsible adult.
Yeah, apparently they got like black mold in America, which we don't really have over here.
Yeah, I saw black mold on the fucking cabinets.
Yeah, and you might find this weird, America, having mold in your house, which can kill you really, really quickly and seriously. Not really a thing over here.
Unless you live in my house.
Fatal mold? Or irritating mold?
It fucked my lungs.
Irritating mold.
I got it sorted.
Because you're not dead.
That's Neil's fault. Blame the tech minion.
Now, this film, it's so fucking generic. But it's also really irritatingly constructed. We start off with a little bit that just made me want to watch Child's Play 6, because we got a killer doll with all the typical killer doll tropes, except we never actually see the doll move.
Oh yeah, no we do, we see it turn its head once. But it starts kind of at the end. But it starts with these people who are like, oh, we found out our house was haunted, so I have this really creepy doll, so we invited the ghost to possess the doll. Then the ghost possessed the doll. Why did that happen?
And you start off with this, and then it's like, suddenly the doll is is captured and it's put into this like crazy trophy room by the exorcist guy, and it all happens off screen. It's just like, oh, here's a doll, here's what's going on with it. Suddenly, oh, cured, fine. It's like,
zoom out, we're in a lecture theatre and I'm talking about my...
We don't need to actually see the doll getting battled or, you know, the people getting stabbed by the doll or whatever.
This doll that during its entire thing had a way of magically getting into locked rooms and out of locked bins.
Don Mancini has missed a trick. You know, he's been wasting his time writing all these Child's Play movies. He could have just had it 5 minutes long saying, hey, look, we got a killer doll that's possessed. Bang, the end. Would have been much simpler.
But anyway, the killer doll that has obviously got the magical ability to ride on the ceiling even though it's 2 feet tall, get in and out of locked rooms seemingly by magic, knock doors from the other side while on this side of them, and other shit like that, is safely locked away in a little glass box with a luggage padlock on it.
Where they got a bunch of other possessed items all just hanging around together.
In the man's front room.
Like, yeah, I hold him there every like month or so. A priest comes along and cleanses it. It's fine. It's everything.
And I don't have a lock on the door even though I have a small child living in the house of possessed goods. But I am a responsible adult and I can do this.
Like I say, if the person's gonna be as much of a science as you can with exorcism and paranormal shit, then I suppose if you've got cursed items, then holding them together in an area that can't be got at would be a good idea, I suppose.
If it was 500 feet underground, concrete lined, had...
Or if you yourself were a person who could cleanse it yourself every single day, just in case.
You know.
But, okay.
No, they should have had, like, buried it underground in concrete and, like, you know, made the concrete with holy water.
Like, at the end of the film, they're showing, like, photos of all the characters in the film and how they were in real life, because apparently this all happened. So, and one of the photos was either the set they used for this thing, or this guy really does have a room full of cursed items.
Which makes him an idiot. An unprofessional, goading idiot. Because, even if you don't believe the ideology that this man follows, there are 2 rules. 1, be modest. 2, don't have false idols. Well done, Christian, you broke Christianity.
Well, it was Catholic. No, the Catholic Bible, if I remember correctly, they have different 10 commandments, and it cuts out the one about idolatry. Replaces it with something else.
No, it does. It was in the Mask of Zorro, they said something about worshipping false idols, and they're all Catholic.
Mask of Zorro was not really a good guide to Catholicism.
I'll ask my girlfriend when I go home. She'll know. She
doesn't strike me as particularly devout.
She goes to Mass twice a year.
Anyway, film is really generic and really stupid. Okay, you find out that this woman in this obviously haunted looking property, this woman committed suicide in 1860.
With an evil tree down by the dock.
Yeah, she chose the most evil tree possible to commit suicide from. Apparently she was a witch at Salem who somehow escaped and killed herself. Now, forgive me if I'm wrong with the dates here, but I didn't think Salem happened in 1860. I was fairly sure it happened either before America became an independent country or around that time. I'm thinking maybe 1690. And she apparently was at Salem, and then she killed herself in 1860. And then,
in fairness, there are about 200 towns called Salem.
There were two Salems back then. There was Salem Town, Salem City. Salem Town's where the events happened. Salem City is where the trial happened. Salem Town has since changed its name to Danvers.
Yeah.
If you're from Massachusetts, be impressed. Then they work out. Okay, because the clocks in the house. Spoilers all the way here, by the way. All stop at 3:07 every single day and they have to be restarted. I'm not sure how they managed to restart them because they're all like, oh, let's find out what time it actually is, 3:07. Oh, fuck. They're going to keep a clock outside the fucking house just to make sure they keep right time so someone has the right time.
No, they phone up the talking clock. That existed back in the 70s, right?
I don't know. But then, they're all like, oh, we've done some investigating on this woman in 1860. She died. She killed herself one night. The time of death was recorded at 3:07.
Back in the 1800s.
1860? Did they record? I'm fairly sure they didn't. They could have easily
How
just said...
did they even do that? Like, I'm pretty sure a witch woman living on her own, hanging herself from a tree in the middle of the night,
the
would not be noticed at
the
307.
entire area was owned by her. Later on, it became it was cut up into different houses. So the grounds that they show these people owning is quite big, but this was apparently only like 1/100th of the size of the land. This is like the size of a small town.
So somebody was on a watchtower 3 times over, just happened to be pointing a looking glass exactly at where the witch was hanging herself, and was like, "It's 307."
She killed herself at 307. They could have easily even said, "Oh look, they discovered her in the morning, and they estimated she died sometime. She died sometime in the night." And then later on, the guys themselves can be like, "Oh no, 307. She must have killed herself at 307."
Well, don't you know, ghosts knock 3 times. That's making fun of the Holy Trinity. So 3, 7.
Trinity.
Trilogy. I can't say trilogy. 3, 7. That's making fun of holy numbers. Oh,
Three.
no.
We were knocking 3 times, but there was like 3 knocks of 3. So it was like, I was thinking like there may be 2 knocks of 3, because then it could have been 6.
Well, at the end, in the other house, the ghost knocked 8 times. So it was 2 Time Lords.
It was, yeah, it could have been them fucking.
This movie was shite. There was 2 good scares in it.
Yeah.
Well, I say good scares. 2 scares at the level of...
Decent.
don't
One,
know.
Lily Taylor has been locked in the basement, and strangely enough, she doesn't actually tell her husband or her children that she was sort of tricked into the basement and then sort of, got locked in there and then got raped by a ghost. All off screen. The next time you see her, she's like, I'm fine, nothing happened to me.
Oh yeah, and on her way down, she made a lot of noise. She was screaming, "Who is there?" And nobody
All the
woke up.
kids were asleep. She was doing laundry at like 3:07. Her kids were asleep. Then she walks downstairs because she hears loud noises, and then all the fucking photos on the walls just leap off and crash everywhere. And then she goes down and gets raped and assaulted in the bathroom in the basement. And still the kids don't fucking wake up. These kids cannot finish a night's sleep in this movie, except for the night their mother is getting sexually violated by a fat, irritating ghost.
That's another thing. The movie establishes there is the witch, who is the big main demon possessing the thing. Then there is a big fat annoying woman who killed her daughter. Then there's a maid who killed her daughter, then killed herself. And there's Rory, the little boy who disappeared in the woods one day, but actually hung himself inside the house somewhere between the walls. They exorcise one of these ghosts in the movie.
Yeah, but the other ones weren't evil, apparently.
That's okay. We can just live with Rory. He was so mentally disturbed by this whole thing that he killed himself. He'll be a good person to live with our 5 daughters. Who has 5 daughters?
They do.
Well, yes, I know, but still.
Apparently it was a true story. So they had 5 daughters.
Maybe that's where the blood came from in the Nannyville horror.
There is a serious amount of shit here, dudes. You got this really irritating Asian guy who's like helping it with tech, and I think his name was Grant.
Something like that.
I think it was called Grant, so I just started referring to him as Grant Imahara. But they're all like running off trying to save children. Oh no, and then like he's constantly leaving the children alone. Like they go off to try and exorcise the mother because the mother gets possessed, even though the ghost is still hanging around doing shit.
Grant will come with you to make sure that nothing bad happens.
We're leaving our 3 kids in a motel.
So no. It's like Grant, the dad, the mother, and the 5 kids go to a motel. And then the dad's like, "Hey Grant, let's go get some pizza."
Okay,
Let's
leave the mother and the 4 kids.
Even though at this point it's established that the mother is the possessed one.
The dad needed most protecting. And then, of course, they all go back to the house, leaving the 3 of the kids together. Even though this monster woman has been traveling across state lines and attacking the paranormal investigator's family. The woman, she is this witch who died in 1860, who apparently was about 170 years old, is so powerful she can control the demon-possessed doll!
Yep, she goes to the man's trophy room and it's like, "Oh, demon-possessed doll, I'll have that."
Hey, Satan, I outrank you.
Well, in fairness, demons follow Satan in the myth.
She's supposed to be like a witch, and it's like, the human follower of Satan is better than the demon possessed.
Also, they called the doll a gateway, which means that if she could control the doll, she could have opened the gates of hell and let thousands of demons.
She could have just cut open the doll, and then it would have. I don't know. The house would have collapsed in on itself.
Well, that would actually be a really good tool for the man who's exercising his demons. Just have Like, put a zip on the front of the door.
Create a vacuum. And go. Okay. The film was annoyingly constructed.
It was badly paced.
You got the shit happening in the house. Oh look, ghosty shit. Oh no! But then every so often you cut back to the
Mulder and
investigators
Scully.
before they've got involved in this main story.
And it's framed to make it look like they are involved in the main story. It's like, I've got a house for you to look at. And it's like, oh, it's just noise from your attic going down. That's okay.
You never actually see the woman that is talking to them, but it looks just like Lily Taylor, so I assumed that they'd already been to the house when they hadn't.
And then later it's like, oh, we're contacting you for the first time. Aha, yes you are. Audience is like,
what? I believe there was some laughter at that point. Then there's the fact that every so often we cut back to the the investigator people. Sometimes they're not doing anything involving possession or investigating. It's like if you're watching Poltergeist, and then every so often you cut to Tangina, the investigator, psychic woman, before she's got involved, and she's just doing something random like eating a sandwich.
It's like cutting back to...
Just go into the light, tuna sandwich. Go into the light.
It was like cutting back to
I don't care.
It was like cutting back to the deleted scenes from 24.
And then you got the fact that, okay, we saw a trailer for Insidious 2 before this, and it was starring Patrick Wilson in a ghost thing again. So I was like, oh my god, this film stars the star of the trailer from Insidious 2.
This film didn't know what to do. It could have been okay if it had stuck to possession or poltergeistism or demons.
The two leads in this, the two investigators, they're basically the two investigators from the Doctor Who episode Hyde from last season.
They're basically Mulder and Scully if they were heavily Catholic.
This is much better than The Exorcist for a piece of Catholic propaganda, by the way.
And here's the thing I brought up about exorcism, by the way. The reason that you don't get any films where it's Protestants who are being possessed is that a Protestant possession is exactly this. Demon, in the name of God, I command you to leave. Done. Anyway, anybody want some tea?
Yeah, either this doesn't happen, or the Protestant exorcists are just really, really good at it. That the demon goes before they can do any shit.
Anybody who believes in Jesus can exercise under.
Apparently, the Catholics can exercise, but they're just not very good at it. Either that, or the whole thing's bullshit.
Or it's a magic chant. Dominos, Dominos, Geren imparti, Kinder nachia, Bardum ne feliciferium.
See this movie, you've got Patrick Wilson's like, oh, I am the only demonologist that is not, that works for the Vatican, that is not ordained. But then he's like, I can't do an exorcism. And then suddenly, oh no, I've got to do the exorcism. And he does it within about 3 minutes. Now, I don't know very much about real life exorcisms, because basically it's stage hypnosis. But real life exorcisms apparently take longer than 10 minutes, and that's with two trained priests, and one of them played by Max von Sydow, and then they both die, and one falls down the crazy steps at the end, and this is worse.
Heavy gay undertones.
Exorcist didn't have heavy gay undertones, although everything does too. The lesbian scene in this was very good.
The lesbian scene was very good.
It was weird to have underage girls do it, though.
I was more going for the maid and the clown woman.
Stop pulling my leg.
Oh, stop. Stop, Annabelle. No, Annabelle? No, it was Nancy.
Kissing Annabelle was a different schoolgirl lesbian movie.
Well, I've seen a lot of those. It didn't know what it was doing. The film, it was like, it literally took everything that we can think that's a little bit scary that we've seen in a recent film or something that was highly influential, put it in a big mixing bowl and just poured it all out hoping it would find something scary.
Why is this critically acclaimed?
Also, hide and clap is a stupid game.
Especially when you're on like the third floor of a building, and you could easily
live there for a week.
And you could it's not like one of our sensible, solidly constructed houses. It's one of the ones where you've got like a banister and then you fall down several stories.
Or you could accidentally walk into a wall and walk through it.
Yeah. This film, the house is also really badly designed, because you got this cubbyhole thing where this boy was hiding and he apparently committed suicide, and then this psychic woman's like, and she falls through the floor, and then she falls right the way down to the basement. There's from the top floor, and there's like 3 floors.
The boy was never found, so surely she should have been pulling a skeleton up with that noose.
Or the skeleton should have been in the basement.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got this little cubbyhole.
He died in the closet.
See, her best friend is a fag hag. Anyway, you get this bedroom, and then they're in this little cubbyhole thing, and then, you know, apparently there's right the way down to the basement.
No wonder the house was cold. There's fuck all insulation in it.
Yeah! And I'm thinking that, you know, how secure is it to have, like, this huge sort of, almost like a, what do you call it?
Riser.
Yeah, surely there should be some sort of boarding connecting to the other floors, because otherwise you got the interior walls are all that's holding up the floors. And the exterior, well, it is America. America exterior walls tend to be wooden and shit. Maybe this is accurate for American
1 2 by
housing.
4 every 16 inches, with 1 cross piece every 2 feet, and then outside plywood, inside redwood.
So I'm thinking
It's a shed.
There should have been something in there.
Yes, there
Okay,
definitely
good.
should.
I'm not insane then.
Otherwise, jumping too hard could tear your house down. But that's what happens whenever you buy a big creepy house that has a hidden basement, hidden cubby holes between the walls.
Although they discovered that the house was even bigger than they thought when they bought it. So, you know, they could just do that up a little bit, ignore the bloodstains that appear in the walls and the screaming, and then they could they could sell it and make a profit.
Also, one thing, I really don't fit in the horror genre. I find an abandoned piano, I fucking play it. I don't
Play
just go,
some jazz just to,
Yes,
irritate the redneck white supremacist ghost.
2 days ago, I was walking through Camden Market. I happened across a piano that was sitting out, and I said, "Does anybody care if I play this?" And I sat down and played the piano for half an hour. I cannot walk past a piano.
And I'm really fucking tired of Western horror movies that feature Victorian-ish, middle-aged, fucking woman ghosts. Really fucking tired of it. This is about as tiring as watching a Japanese horror movie which features white-faced, black-haired women in white who are evil. It was cute the first 7 times. Not since then. You know, Sinister did that bit right because its ghost was me.
Yeah. Mama did it right, because
It turned into a Tim Burton movie.
yeah. But it's just like, oh, the ghost is a black smudge. Nope, the ghost is a sort of feral-looking Ringu rip-off woman.
Yeah, they were like, oh, it knows that, knows that, knows that.
That's because they had 4 ghosts.
Why the fuck was there a deputy hanging out?
Oh, I think to give Grant Imahara some. I think they were trying to make a buddy cop movie in the middle of this.
Possibly, that was another genre. Yeah, they have just randomly helping out a fucking deputy from the local police force. No crimes have been committed. They've never actually reported this to the authorities. Just suddenly, hey, we got some ghost hunters here. We got a cop with them. Because ghosts are well known to break the law, apparently, and this is of interest to the police force.
Maybe it was because they're like, normally whenever we investigate these ghosts, people come out half dead. Let's have a policeman here to prove that we're not being stupid and killing people.
No. Who's paying the guy's salary? Who's paying the ghost hunter's salary? They stay there for about a year.
Not a year, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, but still, they're constantly working, so who's paying them? I suppose the Vatican are, but who's still fucking paying the deputy? The Vatican can't pay the police force.
They're not getting paid. The guy went and bought a new engine for the clapped out car. He was like, I hope you don't mind, I just bought you a new engine for the crack.
This film is very financially dubious.
This film is very dubious in a lot of ways.
And then they're like, oh, why don't we settle down and write that book we've been talking about? No, God put us together for a reason. Yeah, that reason might have been to write the book so you could actually inform people about what the fuck's going on. This is why we haven't heard about this case. You didn't write the fucking book, you morons.
God put us here for a reason, to be the only 2 people who could be qualified to this and not teach anybody else our art.
Even though we're spending our time going to universities and teaching people our art.
Oh dear. Hey, you look kind of scared when that door slammed shut. Must have been a breeze. Oh yeah? They're on. Hey, did a breeze do that to your face? No, I'd take on guys with guns any day. Totally not gay romance.
It was small part of it, but yeah, I can definitely see that. They're like, oh, I don't look like that when a breeze, goes past me. It's like the guy just got a door slammed in his face. You fucking moron! A breeze could have done that. And you would have looked like that if you were surprised. You fucking idiot!
That's jump scares. It was
Looking afraid from having a ghost slam your door in your face, an invisible ghost slam a door in your face, is exactly the same as your face after you get just a breeze slamming a door in your face. Because you're both times you were getting your door slammed in your face, surprised by something you can't see. They're functionally the same look, you fucking moron, Grant Imahara. Go and fuck Tori, not that cop.
Don't worry about that shit.
It's a really fucking stupid movie.
I didn't enjoy it, but no, the two good parts of it that I actually liked. Whenever she's here, the ghost has taken up the habit of going, because they play hide and clap, which is like blindman's bluff, except you clap 3 times. Whenever the seeker says clap, and you go to tell them where you are, which is a shitty, stupid game, as we've established. But she's like,
wait a sec, they clap 3 times, but they can always do double claps. 666! And 6s. 6.
Anyway, she's like, oh, who's that while I'm folding my laundry at 3 a.m.? Oh, all my girls are in bed. Oh shit, there's somebody out there. I better go down the stairs. Not, freak the fuck out. Ah, crash bang.
Oh, all the pictures explode.
Who's here? Ah, who's in my house? Oh, nobody's awake. That's okay.
I think she was just really happy she wasn't still in the haunting.
Oh, I hear somebody playing that abandoned piano downstairs. I better go down into the basement. Oh no, the basement door slams shut. 2 arms appear behind her. That was a good point.
And then the screen went black and she was raped by the hands.
Yeah.
Then
But I like the hands appearing behind her whenever she's staring down the stairs. The other one...
Yeah, that was one of the 2 good scares.
The other one, like, the Christian Ghostbuster woman is...
70s Ghostbusters, I only accept them whenever they have a fucking giant gorilla.
Okay, the wannabe...
Reference! Clap yourself, give yourself a round of applause if you understand what I'm talking about.
This isn't a round of applause. This is a round of applause. Anyway, for some reason, Christian Ghostbuster woman is out hanging washing while the woman who's clearly possessed and haunted is inside having a nap by herself.
Well, she got possessed while she was outside. The mother got possessed while the Christian woman was outside.
Yeah. She's inside the house having a nap while everybody else has left the house. The man who said he'd look after her is over buying a new engine for the dad's car, and the Christian woman's outside doing the family's laundry. She's hanging it up, the wind suddenly picks up and she's like, I'll take this laundry down, and a sheet flaps off and hits off somebody and it flies on.
Yeah, it's like shape of a regular figure. That was cool, and then it sort of flew up into the window, and then you saw the ghost was in the window thing, so I think the ghost was taken up there by the thing. I don't know. And then she got possessed.
That looked quite cool.
It was well done. I'm not sure if it was entirely CG or if the other possibility is that they had someone in a mocap in a green screen suit, and then they sort of keyed them out. I don't know which one it was, but it was well done. They got a moderate round of applause for that from me. Then the actual exorcism at the end, because you got to exorcise Lily Taylor, I think you call her, but it's the crappiest movie exorcism and the funniest by accident.
Show yourself. Hello.
It's up there with Exorcist 2: The Heretic. It's worse than Exorcist: The Beginning. It's okay. This I am almost going as far as saying I prefer the movie about the fucking Dybbuk box for the comedian battles. And where the other bad horror movie, that features a member of the cast of Watchmen.
And a demon who lives in a mirror.
Oh yeah. Oh, this film. But you will enjoy this film if you really enjoy long shots staring at a fucking mirror with a spiral pattern. Tim Burton would love this.
Rory, the little boy who got lost in the woods or hung himself in the house, we don't really have a guarantee on which one, lives inside a little music box that if you look at it whenever the music stops, will appear behind you. Even though at no point did he appear whenever the music stopped. Other people appeared whenever the music stopped.
Well, he did it once.
No, he appeared halfway through the music and then disappeared again when the music stopped.
Okay, well, but and then the music box at the end is taken to the guy's collection of trophies. You know, all these poor demons living in there, being all like, "Oh no!" This is weird. It's like this is like death for the dead. But then, if Rory is the one that lives inside there,
they're just punishing an innocent child.
Yeah.
He got driven to suicide.
They send the witch woman to hell, but you know, leaving the maid and the fat woman to hang around, I suppose, be lesbian ghosts. I've seen Hex. Shit happens.
And they put Rory in a room literally full of demons.
This movie is really stupid. And just so you know, Lone Ranger hasn't come out here yet. So, I'm like, I already saw that. It was fucking terrible.
I'm sick of children's music boxes being creepy.
Yeah, stop having kids shit as creepy. It's fucking stupid.
If you want to have something childish that's creepy, get a fucking baby's rattle and just go.
No. But people, they're just not very imaginative what they consider frightening. You know, this whole film, I was thinking about little things they could have done to make it more subtle with scares, sort of like Kubrick did with The Shining. You know the bit where Lily, the mother, was fucking was doing laundry in the middle of the night. I had a thought for a perfect way to do a very subtle scare there. You saw that she was, like, you know, doing this, like, it was a red thing she was laundering, and you could see it in the mirror. Mm-hmm. A very nice trick would have been if you had the mirror and the one that she was doing different colors. If you had them as different colors in the mirror and in real life. If you, like, you know, had a double doing it in the mirror and it was a fake set, or if you sort of inserted a fake image,
or even just recolored them,
or recolored it, you know, make it like, so she's doing something red, she's doing something like blue in real life, and then it's like blood red in the mirror,
or like just a blue pair of jeans in real life, but it's a white nightgown in the mirror.
Yeah, or if it's a white nightgown that's covered in blood in the mirror. Something fucking subtle. You know, there was a couple of times I spotted where they could have done stuff like that, like when they were in the basement and they were doing shots, you know, fairly quick pan shots across. They could have easily had, like, just a shot of, like, some sort of a figure half hidden in the darkness that they don't actually concentrate on. All these fucking horror movies are like, okay, we got something scary here, we're gonna make sure you see it, here you go, we're gonna make sure you see it, here it is, here's the scary thing, be scared of it, ooh, jump scare! Ah!
That was like Sinister. Anyway. Don't kill my car! I can't remember what movie it was, but I remember a very effective, subtle thing like that, where they hear a noise coming from over there, so there's like all of them going like this, and the ghost is looking between two people's shoulders, and then they all turn around and it's not. I thought that was quite good.
That's slightly more subtle. It's
like,
you know,
what are we looking at?
This one, because almost everything is set in the same fucking house. They could have done other, like, I think The Shining did. Apparently, The Shining did. According to the producer, this is actually mostly accurate. Apparently, The Shining, the geography of the hotel was deliberately designed to not work in real life, so this was discovered when someone created a level in Doom, I believe, based on the Overlook Hotel, based on the film. But they discovered this didn't work in real life. Just the rooms do not work. Like, the manager's office is actually in the center of the hotel, but it's got it's got windows behind it with trees. Mm-hmm. You know, shit like this, you can't recreate it in regular life.
Yeah.
So they could have done shit like that, or the other thing in The Shining where they have furniture moves between shots, just a tiny bit, or you've got, like, suddenly Jack Nicholson's got, like, a plant behind him, the next shot he's got, like, an animal skull or something, and it changes between jump cuts, but it's never noticed by the characters, and it's never ever dwelled upon. They could have easily done shit like that in this.
This is supposed to be one of the most haunted house stories.
Yeah, they could easily have just been all like, okay, we got our really obvious fucking scares. Here's other things you're not going to notice. I know, you know, a film that wasn't very good, but it tried to do shit like that? Blair Witch 2.
Yeah.
It tried, in its Secret of Ezra, whatever you call it, where they at the end, they would give you clues. You go back and you see these subtle little attempted scares, such as changing the name of a gravestone between shots from the name to like death or something, like, or the fact that weird things appear in the shapes of skulls and things. It wasn't done very well, but they were trying.
This movie wasn't trying to scare you. This movie was trying to fit in as many references to other horror movies as it could. This was Scream.
But it wasn't deliberate.
Yeah. But
it even had Officer Dewey, the deputy, had a mustache. He could have been played by David Arquette.
I like how they did the whole... You know, it was pretty accurate to what ghost hunters would have used, all these cameras that automatically go off on a thermometer or strings and shit. That's quite cool. That's pretty much what ghost hunters did use.
There was one subtle scare that they put in, which was nice. Which was, they had EVP sort of things to, to record conversations, but they used it during conversations with people. But the people who lived in the house, their half the conversations were not recorded, which was subtle and unusual, but there was absolutely no reason for this to happen. If it had happened when the woman was possessed, I could understand it. Or if the voice had been replaced. And oh yeah, when she's possessed, her voice goes like, I'm electronic voice. We could not afford to get someone to dub me with a better voice or to have me do a legitimately frightening voice. Where is Mercedes McCambridge when you need her?
I just want to ask
she's dead.
How hard is this to do? No! I mean, can actresses not do that? It sounds better than auto-tune. It does fill your mouth with phlegm.
Well, I'm just thinking, if they'd actually done a seance, they could have actually got Mercedes McCambridge, who did the voice of possessed Reagan. They could have got her to possess the actor for 8 hours, filmed those scenes, just done it in ADR, and then they could have exorcised her, and they could have done it as a nice little DVD documentary for the thing. Check it out. It was, oh, your mother sucks cocks in hell. See, look, we got a famous ghost.
Also, your point about they had microphones in every room. They're running upstairs to find the little girl has disappeared in a room. So they run upstairs, and the Asian guy's like, "Come, listen here. I've got a microphone in that room. You can hear the ghost. There's more than one person in there. I'm going to sit here with my headphones on." It's like, "Get me a UV light." Guy runs downstairs. "I need a UV light." Asian guy's like, "Huh, what? Oh, I didn't hear that conversation."
That's true. I never spotted that.
It's like, I'm totally listening to this room. Go and get me a UV light.
I got some lesbian ghosts making out in another room. Oh yeah, fat woman and maid. Oh yeah.
Look what the maid would do. Also, maid, just for future reference, if you are trying to commit suicide and not just self-harm, go up the road. Don't cross it. You go up the street. Because doing this will not kill you effectively, especially if it's only one slash. I'm sorry, but you're not dead. Go to the hospital.
Obviously, she didn't go to the hospital and sat there till she died.
Well, that'll do. Make you pass out eventually.
We saw a trailer for a movie called Prisoners, and as far as I can tell, Wolverine has just decided to become anti-Wolverine, so he's got a goatee but no sideburns, and his hair there has all been stuck to his face. So it's like reverse Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman, has a kid, and then she gets kidnapped, and they just assume that this guy who looks weird with big glasses is the kidnapper, and there's no evidence. Just because he looks weird, and then he tortures him. I'm really hoping that the guy who looks weird is innocent, and so Wolverine is actually the villain here, because Jesus Christ, people who are successful at kidnapping and raping children tend not to look like the public's view of what child molesters look like. Those are the first people who are suspected.
Short, albino, greasy guy with big round glasses.
Yeah.
He owns a van. Yeah, totally not a child molester. But I'm hoping for that movie that Hugh Jackman is actually in a drug-induced coma, in which he's come out of at the start and imagined that he is a child, and he's just beaten up some randomer for not kidnapping a child that doesn't exist.
I'm doubting it because everyone else is in on it. Everyone's working with him.
I think that would be an interesting concept for a movie, and it's mine. Don't you fucking steal it.
It would. Because, the only possible... If the guy actually did kidnap the children, this must be his first fucking time. But if it is his first fucking time, why did he orchestrate it so fucking well?
Yeah.
I might have to watch the film just so I can rant about it.
There's so much to say about the Conjuring, but there's so little to say as well. I wouldn't go and see it, to be honest. If you want to laugh at bad horror, go and see it. But
there was a lot of laughter from the audience. It was a good audience to see it with because very few of them were taking the movie's shit.
Yeah, there were people jumping at jump scares because that's an automatic human reaction, and everybody was like...
Yeah, I did notice at least 3/4 of the way through, someone apparently went behind someone else and grabbed their chair and yanked them backwards during a tense moment, and that was rather amusing.
Oh, and there was one point in it where the girl was banging her head off the wardrobe and saying, "Come here, go back to bed." And I turned to her and said, "Hey, the wardrobe's going to start banging itself. 1, 2, 3. The wardrobe started banging itself."
Everyone just wants to go to Narnia, dude.
That's how predictable this movie was. I was able to time its jump scares as well.
And the kids just wanted to go to Narnia. But why the fuck did Rory know how to play hide and go clap?
Oh, he watched. Apparently as a ghost you can still develop your cerebral cortex. Why the fuck did Annabelle, the ghost of a 3-year-old, know how to write?
You need a brain to learn stuff! This is one of the reasons that ghost films are so fucking stupid. Because, you know, this is probably going to offend at least one person, but there is no evidence that a soul exists, and if it does exist, you won't be able to do shit like that because we rely on our brains to do shit. Without a brain, you can't do shit. Even if you have, like, the sort of electromagnetic or spiritual thing flying around afterwards, without a brain, it doesn't exist.
Any information that you've learned throughout your life is what you have as a ghost. Without a cerebral cortex, you lack the ability to do anything but relive your memories.
Well,
would be what I would say.
So yeah, that would be a more spiritually friendly sort of version of what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, they've got people, and people have had damage done to their brains, and with damage done to their brains, they're not them anymore. Their personalities change. People lose big chunks of their memory. You can cut people's brains into 2 pieces that are still working, and it's like 2 different people inside the same body. We are governed completely by our brains. This is why fundamentally ghost stories are stupid.
It's also the reason why I want to kill myself the second I get Alzheimer's.
Yeah, your brain is you. Once you're dead, your brain's not working anymore. Now, if a ghost exists and it's got access to your memories and shit, that would completely discount all the information we have about brains. It makes ghost stories just silly. Like, I would be fine. I'm fine with ghost stories that work with the stone tape idea.
Stone tape?
Stone tape, where things and traumatic things are recorded on certain buildings.
Yes.
That was quote. I believe that was coined by the guy who wrote Quatermass. I can't remember. But
the idea that the emotional situation has been it's caused an influence on the surroundings,
and it's got recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only rational explanation for ghosts that I can think of. And if anyone actually, before anyone says, "Oh, but ghost things can't be rational or anything," I just reply with, if something exists, science is going to learn about it. If science doesn't learn about it, it most likely doesn't exist. And even if it does exist, but science cannot learn about it, the time to believe in it is after science has learned about it. 700 years ago, we didn't know what the fuck magnetism was. However, if you went back in time now and you started telling people, look, magnetism exists, you can't see this, you don't know how it works, but look, there is like these forces that you don't understand.
What? Barnhar!
Well, you could do that, yeah. But any person who believed you based on you telling them so is an idiot because they didn't have the evidence.
Anybody believing you based on you with a neodymium magnet going, look, pick up Neil, is less of an idiot, but still an idiot.
Yeah, they had some evidence. So what I'm saying is, the time to believe in something was after science has demonstrated it. Once before science demonstrated it, you might be right in believing something, and science might later on work out that you were right. But it doesn't make your initial belief rational. It means that you threw some darts at a board with a blindfold and you accidentally hit like a 24 or a bullseye. It's luck.
24 is a very odd thing to hit in darts. It's entirely possible with one dart, but...
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but it's...
It's a 888.
I don't know anything about darts.
You want to hit a 60 or a bullseye.
Okay. I don't... Sorry, yeah, ghost stories are silly. Honestly.
And I like that they lampshaded that with, yeah, you see, it's me standing on this floorboard here, and these pipes make it travel around the house. That's why your house goes woo at night. I like that they hung that there to say, yeah, most of what I do is just proving to people that they're stupid.
I'd love to see a whole film which is just, people showing the rational explanation for things. Because the fantasy is far more sexy than the reality, it's far more interesting. It gives a skewed idea of reality, which I think, so I'd like occasionally for them to be a hyper skeptic movie, which does not prove that the skeptics are full of shit. Because being skeptical of shit,
it's always wrong in the movie.
Being skeptical, I'm sorry, is the only path to actually learning stuff.
I actually figured out something there, but I want to say something else first about that idea. That would be really cool, because you could have a series of little ghost stories and have them all set up in the really creepy way, and then just have them debunked in universe. That'd be really cool. Yeah,
because skepticism, I'm not saying about refusing to believe shit even though there's evidence. That's not skepticism, that's pig-headedness. Skepticism is not believing until there is evidence. Once there's evidence, you believe away.
Whenever you've eliminated the impossible, whatever's left, no matter how improbable, is the truth.
No, that's a ridiculous statement. I'm sorry, Sherlock Holmes was completely stupid when he said that. Because in order to actually use that, you've got to have absolute knowledge, which you don't.
Exactly.
So but no, dumbass. Not you, Sherlock Holmes.
I know, but I like the saying. What I was just thinking there, this family could have a mass hallucinogenic disorder, and the other two being religious are also suffering from it. And
entirely possible.
What you see in people with
mass psychosis.
What you see in mass psychosis is in something equivalent to Munchausen syndrome, where you will try to prove your psychosis to other people as fact. So they bring in the two people who are they're obviously bad sufferers because they see ghosts everywhere, and explain to them.
One of them literally.
Yeah. So first of all, the mother's seeing things. The little girl explains about Rory. People start seeing Rory. The mother starts talking about seeing things move around the house, so everybody else starts seeing things move around the house. And
interesting alternate take on the film.
Yeah, the crazy ass woman comes in and says, I see people all over the place. And everybody starts seeing people all over the place. Then they start moving the doors with their feet and giving a wee kick behind themselves and making things happen a little bit, not intentionally, to confuse the cop and Grant.
Well, Grant already believes. The cop, he's the sort of one that they managed to convince via crazy psychosis and shit. And I actually have seen a Protestant exorcism that's more like the Catholic one. It's by Bob Larson, who is a rather showy, full of shit piece of crap from America.
Well, Americans. But I like my theory better. This was a mass psychosis and mixed in with some sort of Munchausen's-like disorder where they wanted to make their psychosis viable for other people.
That would make a far better film. Unfortunately, they're making a sequel where the hunters go off and ghost hunt somewhere else. Apparently it's going to be set in England, and it's like, England? If you're going to do a professional ghost hunter movie...
Tower of London?
No. You've got Harry Price. Harry Price was a 1930s ghost hunter who visited Borley Rectory, which was the most haunted house in England, and it burned down in the 20s. You could easily do a Harry Price movie set in Borley Rectory. I know he only visited and he said, oh yes, there are ghosts here, and then several years later it burned down and there was apparently a ghost scene in the flames. But you could make a film about that and just claim that he burned it down in order to save the world from this gateway to hell or some shit like that. Very easy.
I've actually slept in a haunted house. Reputedly haunted.
I've seen ghosts, and guess what? They don't exist.
Huh.
I really confused people on Twitter one day whenever I commented that. It's like, sorry, no, my exact quote was, I've seen ghosts and I don't believe in them. And I had to explain that I know what I saw. I know it's far more likely to not be a ghost.
No, I've on a canoe trip, there's an island in Loch Ness that has 2 ghost stories on it, both in the same building. One is a lady with a lamp who stands there waiting for her husband to return.
Florence Nightingale.
You know, the most repeated ghost story in all the world. Oh, she awaits her belated husband who went fishing one day and did not return. The other one was something about a man who'd hung himself. But
Loch Ness is, if you look at a map of Northern Ireland, Loch Ness is the bit that's missing, that's sort of, in
the middle.
Near the middle, yeah.
yeah, but did a 2-day canoe trip, stayed in a haunted island. And I will say this, I felt rather uneasy on that island. Probably because I was sleeping next to a 6'5" man who was the only person I knew at the time who could beat me up. But I felt very uneasy.
I saw a ghost. I was at secondary school, and I was sitting in a hallway waiting to see some sort of a official. I can't remember, and I saw a grey, whitish, looked like a set of feet or lower legs just walk past. Looked over past them, and it was this greyish sort of nurse. The secondary school I went to used to be a mental hospital. And I asked if there was supposed to be a ghost of a grey or white, sort of woman, nurse. Mm-hmm. And the janitor confirmed that yes, there is supposed to be a ghost story about her on the grounds of the building based before it became a school. And I still think that this is absolute bullshit, because I'm in a former mental hospital. What the fuck else am I going to see as a ghost if my mind is being silly? And what other kind of ghosts are going to be there?
My high school had a ghost, apparently. But whenever our high school had the new extension built back in the 30s, they converted what used to be some classrooms into the music department. And there was a young girl who was helping move a piano up 3 flights of stairs, who apparently fell down a flight of stairs and crushed her to death. And there's this whole thing about dying on a grid, and there was 100-year-old tiles there or something. But this just happened to be in the stairwell that had a very strange roof built to allow wind to not affect it, that went whenever it was windy, and next to the music department. So people would report hearing strange noises on the stairwell. And people were like, I mean the roof that goes... It's like, no, it was a deep howling. No. But that poor girl.
Well, with my one, since I'd been waiting there to see someone for probably about 10 to 20 minutes, I think possibly I got put myself into a little bit of self-trancing. I can't remember what the official term for that is, and my mind was playing tricks. And it's much more likely than everything we know about metaphysics and the existence of the mind and shit being wrong, and it's far more likely to be something that's crappy and internal to me. So, I do not believe in ghosts, even though I saw one.
Well, with my history of audio and visual hallucinations, I can't confirm whether or not I've seen a ghost. But we have 10 minutes of tape left. How long are these tapes? 90 minutes, isn't it?
No, not 90. There is about 65 or 62. But yeah, I'm sure someone's going to comment about that. If you have ghost stories, please feel free to comment about them, but do not be upset if I have a similar skeptical attitude to yours that I do to my own.
Don't be upset if I laugh, and please don't post creepypasta. You know creepypasta?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically a modern incarnation of folk stories.
I know, but I'm just sick of people being like, I totally saw this thing that's been floating around the internet for 5 years.
Yeah, only post your own stories.
Yeah, if you have a story, write to us at... We need to just comment on the damn video.
Comment on the video at PME, or comment on my WordPress, or send a message to the Facebook group, or leave a comment at the Facebook group.
Or submit to the Amanda Hagan Tumblr, but she won't see it.
Yeah, Creature or Jethro Q will. So yeah.
Bye.
Ghosts are likely bullshit.
Don't see this movie, it's shite.
On The Exorcist, like, I don't believe in vampires, and it's like, oh, you're just making them mad, or one of these days they're going to totally come and kill you, you stupid fuck.
That's what the sequel's going to be.
It'll be interesting.
He's going to have to lose his skepticism of vampirism.
You know, it's really ridiculous. You got this Exorcist guy. It's only because American Christian culture is okay with ghosts, generally, that he doesn't find the idea of ghosts
abhorrent,
ludicrous. If he was Eastern European, he'd fucking believe in vampires. Eastern European vampires are all over this shit. They'd find ghosts silly. They'd go for vampires. It's entirely a form of cultural, oh, my culture is superior. It's when it's really silly.
Vampirism actually does exist as well. There were several groups that were known for drinking the blood of their enemies and believed it would give them immortality.
That's not vampirism.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Consuming of human blood is vampirism.
No, it isn't.
Same as consuming of human flesh is cannibalism.
Vampirism is a particular type of consuming of human blood. It's not just any consuming of human blood. That means blood play.
I've drank human blood.
So have I. Everyone has. It's given as a apart from possibility of all sorts of crazy kinky shit. Every single child is taught to suck their own blood whenever they get a cut. It's not vampirism. Vampirism is whenever you got the mythical vampire thingy, which apparently has its basis in Judaic folklore, allegedly with Lilith.
Everybody does, though. Everything apparently has its basis in Judaic folklore. Have you noticed?
Or Hellenic. Werewolves is based on Hellenism. So, meh.
Well, vampires are
But
magic historically.
allegedly Lilith, Adam's first wife, in the version of the Torah, in a version of the Genesis story, which was not ended up in the Bible, apparently was the first vampire. In the Christian version, she has been relegated to being like a wooden demon who constantly has shitty demon babies. Religion's stupid.
The story of Lilith is interesting.
Why I say religion's stupid? I did not mean that, actually. Myth is ridiculous. That's what I meant. Myth is ridiculous.
Myth is ridiculous. Organized religion is a business.
That's why they had to ask the Vatican to get an exorcism, rather than just you could have just wandered in there and going, "Oi, power of Christ compels you. Let's go get a beer."
The power of Christ compels you to buy me a beer.
And you could have like brought in some whiskey, and then you'd be like, "Check it out, spirits! I brought some better spirits."
Or the Irish exorcism. Get the fuck out!
Yeah, I'm gonna replace the evil spirits with whiskey.
No, the first exorcism was done in the Bible by Jesus, as in the first Christian exorcism anyway. He said, "In the name of my Father, in the name of the Lord my Father, I command you, get out."
And it was Legion, and went into a bunch of pigs. I want to know what the fuck the pigs did to deserve that.
Well, they were pigs. They're filthy creatures.
I don't give a shit.
Well, they did.
Jesus is a jerk for killing a bunch of innocent pigs. And what about the farmer who owned the pigs? I hope he paid the guy. Those things were expensive.
Well, he also made an ass off with. That didn't work.
Jesus, in this story, you were being a douche.
Anyway.
You could have just sent it to hell. Most exorcist stories end with, them getting dissipated or sent to hell or something, except for the every single one where they leap into another person. It's like, "Oh no, I'm out of the body." But, jeez, fuck.
Trap them in a mirror.
Yeah, that's what the Doctor did in the Family of Blood.
Well,
Don't watch The Conjuring. It's shite.
Oh, the title. Okay, it's called The Conjuring. But then you've got, the title is actually The Conjuring, and they're, jammed together like one big entity. So it's like the conjoined title of The Conjuring. Yo, dog, I heard you like conges, so I put some conjure in your conj.
put your conj.
I've got the conj, you can't kill me. Oh no, gotta kill Piggy. And that's a really...
Conch. Not conj.
I don't care. Let's go.
That's not the off button.